What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Just 350 JP in the house. Okay, so I got this new video. The name of this is called Cured Study Habits. Okay, pretty much my I don't know if you guys watched it. Cured the Anger in Black Men. It pretty much goes the same thing. Most of your problems when you study has nothing to do with you not understanding or anything like that. Well, it does have it, but I'm talking about studying in itself. Basically what it is you start to study, and a lot of kids don't like to study. Why is that? Okay, the reason is because you create this image in your head and then you animate it. Okay, and what I mean by animate it is you release adrenaline so it'll make you do whatever it is that you thought that you should do to contradict or prevent yourself from studying. So like today I went to one of my English classes, and it's this boy, he's in the 7th grade, and another girl, she's in the 4th grade. And they both are doing the same thing. They're Japanese students, and so anyway, they both are doing the same thing. What I'm doing is teaching them how to answer English questions in English, and to do this, they have to know how to translate Japanese to English and understand what it means. They also have to know the difference between be verbs and action verbs, and then how to find the correct action verb and things like that. So the student, the 4th grader, she just did, like in 45 minutes, she did all the questions. The 7th grader, we're at his house, and he's not doing anything, and I don't know, and his mother and father, the kids, nowadays parents can't control their kids or don't know how to influence them to do the right things. So he's the whole time, I don't know. And then so I'm just, working with him and just keep asking him questions and why, what's next, why, what's next, why. And pretty much that's all I ask him. And so after 39 minutes, he finally did it, right? And then in the last, but then it took him like 15 minutes to do the next question and stuff. And then I told him, stop pretending like you're dumb. You're not dumb. And he was like, well, it's too difficult or something like that. And I said, no, it's not difficult. It's just you're not trying. And he's like, well, I don't want to try. And I'm like, well, why don't you want to try? He said, well, because it's too difficult. I said, no, that's not why. I said, the reason you don't want to try is because you're creating some image in your head that you don't want to do this. Then you're animating it. And by animating the image of you not wanting to do it, whatever it is, some contradictory image, then you release your adrenaline fluid, and it makes you do whatever it is. And because you probably want to play a game, so you're like, I'd rather play a game. And so you're thinking about that, and so you realize, when you do that, your adrenaline flows to you wanting to play a game. But since you can't play a game because the game isn't there, then you start wiggling and moving and all that stuff, because the adrenaline that flows through your body, it makes your body move. It has to burn off. And if it's not going to do, if it's not permitted to do the job that it's supposed to, then it's going to move whatever other organs that usually tends to, that's next available organs to be moved or whatever. And then what happens is, because you can't get up and you can't really move around, then it comes out in your voice, with your, I guess, your vocal cords and stuff. I don't want to do it. Your arms get to flinging and flying. And you do the same thing in school. And when you do that in school and stuff, and you throw a temper tantrum, then you get in trouble. But see, the whole thing about it is that's controllable. Okay. First of all, when you study, you have to understand one thing. There's only one reason why you study, and that's to understand yourself more. And you might want to say, well, why can't I do this math? Well, because you didn't understand it. Why can't I get this, do this or do that? It's because you just didn't study, and that's it. And what I mean by when you study, you understand yourself more, is because the less you know about things and less competent, or same things, no, the less that you know about different subjects and different things, then your accomplishments will be very, very limited. So basically, you don't know what you can do, and you won't know who you are or anything about yourself unless you study. You don't know what a conscience is. You might feel all this stuff and everything. It's like when you're playing basketball. You jump up and You shoot a shot from 3 points and it's a swish. Okay? Then I tell you that, all right, write that stuff down on a sheet of paper, what you just did. You're like, well, I just took a jump shot. Well, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you did. But what does that jump shot consist of when you write it on a sheet of paper? It's math, trajectory, it's physics in there, and all kinds of other stuff, all kinds of stuff in there to make that jump shot, mechanics, and then the study of fluids because of the body and stuff like that, and then the stress and pressures and things like that. Then you got the ball, and then you got the air that's that's flowing through the air and all that stuff. You got the wind. You got all this stuff that you are computing in your head, and it takes you about 5 seconds, not even 5 seconds, to compute it like Parker did against the Heat. In the last 5 seconds, he was like fell down, still dribbling, got up, and on what they were saying, he took that little hop, whatever it was, and was up in the air, took like a double pump or something, tossed it up in the air, and hit the top of the the top of the board, and hit the rim, and then fell in. He computed all of that stuff in his head, no matter what. Less than what was like 2 seconds, 1.99999 seconds, and it went in. Now, he thought of it, so why can't he write it on paper? If you do it, you can write it on paper. That's all studying is. And all the subjects that you are studying and stuff is showing you how to interpret what you do and what you see on a sheet of paper, and that is it. Now, when it comes to history and stuff like that, it's just history. It's just memorization, and you can make a chart, and if you don't understand what that means, what the words are, then you have to start studying the vocabulary. Just open up a dictionary. That's why I say, you kids should, you young kids, especially ones that are honor students and stuff, you grab kids up on the block. Don't go to these parks outside. Go to your homes, and you do some vocabulary study drills or whatever, and you can do that stuff, So there's no reason why you shouldn't study and why you can't study, because all you're doing is learning more about yourself, your blood going through your veins, and why you can run so fast, and all of this stuff. And it's just interpretation on paper, and that's basically it. And you say, well, why do I need to interpret on paper? Just in case you want to convey something to someone else. That stuff is very important, or you want to teach someone something. You have to understand with those words, and how to explain it and everything, in such a way where people can understand. But like I said, the reason most people don't want to study, and probably 100%, is just because you create this image in your head. But the number one reason is you don't have an interest in yourself. And the reason you don't have an interest in yourself is not because you don't have an interest in yourself. You just don't know what studying really means. And all studying means is just knowing yourself. Like I always say, know thyself. Well, you can't know nothing if you don't study it. Now, you can believe and have confidence that you know, but believing that you know something, actually knowing something, being able to perform an action based on competence and not based on, well, I think I can drive a car. You put it in reverse and you drive backwards and crash, versus, well, I know I can drive a car, and you get in a car and put it in drive and drive forward, and don't hit anyone. So there is a difference. So basically in this video, when you start to study, what you have to do is you have to learn to have an interest in yourself. A lot of people always say, well, you shouldn't talk good about yourself, especially in Japan, they talk like that. Or you bragging. No, you never brag. Okay, there is nothing wrong with you talking about how handsome you are, how tall you are, all the things that you can do, because those are you, and those are you, and those are you, and you can only do one thing. You can only do your best. Okay? Whenever you do something, you can only do your best. So if you purposely want to fail on the test, well, good. That was the best you did at that time. Now, not saying that doing your best is always going to be doing the best or whatever you did at the time is always going to be the correct answer, or might give you all the correct answers. But at that time, that's the best that you did, basically. So start having more interest in yourself, because, we have a lot of religions, always saying God first. God's not first. Jesus is not first. You're first. There's no one. When you wake up in the morning, you always just say, to me, I am the most important person on this earth. There there's no one on this earth more important than I am. Wow, that was crazy. Okay, but you should understand, but in order for me to accomplish my goals, I know I must cooperate with others, and that's basically what it is about life. There's no one on this earth better than you, okay? And no one on this earth more important than you, okay? Now maybe to you, you know, maybe somebody's more important to someone else or whatever, fine, but to you, there's no one more important. And but remember, you have to cooperate with everyone else and the other people to obtain the goals and the things that you want in your life, because if you don't cooperate with other people, you will lack. And that's, you know, whether you're the most important person to yourself or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you can provide everything that you need for yourself. No, that is impossible. You know, you got people doing things, making the computer for you and all of that stuff. So basically, when you're in school, please study, okay? Have an interest in yourself and have an interest in the study. If you say, well, I don't know how to get an interest in the study, well, then just kick in the survival mode. In the survival mode, they like barely struggling. No, that's not surviving. Surviving is thriving and doing the best you can, and always doing the best you can. That's survival. Okay, now, some people probably mix up struggling with survival, but struggling and survival are two different things. They say survival of the fittest. Well, the fittest don't struggle. They do what they do. Okay, so you get this interest in the studying. Sure, you might get sleepy, whatever. When you're reading, if you got a long book to read, just read a paragraph at a time. Read it 2 or 3 times, understand it, and move on. And if you don't understand the words, then what do? You look in the dictionary. Okay, please look in the dictionary. And as time goes on, you'll start remembering the words, and the studying become easier, and you'll understand a lot more about yourself. Trust me. And also, something else I wanted to say, gosh. Oh, and when you read out loud, okay, because it's very important to read out loud. And if you suck at reading out loud, it's okay. You'll get better. Okay, you will get better. Spend a lot of time studying, because that's where the money's to be made. Okay, it's not going to be made out in the streets, running around, you know, thinking you bad, you know, and thinking you dumb, so you're not going to school. There's no such thing as a dumb person. Everything that's they study, you can learn. Everything that's out here is all you. Just put it together and understand. It's just an extension of yourself, okay? Anyway, I'm out, and remember, what's the purpose of studying? To learn, to understand yourself. Why don't you study? Because you create an image of you doing something else. You release your adrenaline fluid to create whatever action it is that you can do. Oh, I'm going to read. I'm not going to study. I'm going to go drive. So you release the adrenaline, and your body goes to drive. But if you can't move, then you start wiggling like, and all this stuff. So anyway, please study. It's easy, you know, and you just got to remember the words. But remember, if you find a word you don't understand it, look in the dictionary. But the probably easiest thing to do is look in the thesaurus, because they'll have other words that are being there that you'll understand. Okay. Anyway, I'm out. Peace. Hit the books.